Hey, Pastor Brian. Um, well, I'm those videos sent you and the um, article or that I sent you. I wanted you to know, sir, that I have my mind. Um, I've got my mind made up on something that God introduced me to back in 2012, and that's the 501c4, the social welfare organization. And over the years, God has given me little bitty examples, some stuff from your sermons, and some stuff from what other people are doing. And what I wanted to, the one thing I wanted to mention to you, right, sir, is about the gifting circle and offering. Gifting circles and offerings, if you put those together, like if people could have the motivation for gifting in a gifting circle with the same, not the, see, with the gift circle, it's primarily you're thinking about money, at least based on the explanations that I've listened to, because I've been ever since you brought it up to me, I did more of a deep dive over the past little while, week, or how long it's been, sir. um and so, unfortunately, for a lot of people, greed is the thing, or not. Greed. I don't know if I would say that greed is bad anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, we may talk about it in a bad way, but I don't know if I see it as bad. It happens to, that's part of, the world runs a little bit on some level of greed. And the way that I've been trained, um, I don't I don't feel that I have any greed. I mean, every time that I've kind of, over the years, as it related to church, to sort of, sell CDs, or um you know take the thing that I'm good at and bring it to the marketplace for a profit, so to speak, every single time it has always been met with some sort of nah, 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 nah. And so that has basically made it so that I've determined. Pastor Carla said it to me with you on the phone, and this was in 2013, maybe 2014, um, where she said, "Matt, you're good ground, and when people sow into you, you you reap." And that's the way I see. That's the way I've seen your ministry over the years. And um, I've always looked at you and CCI as good ground to sow into. So my motivation, for instance, the last time I was there, I had a bunch of money orders, and because what I did was, I took all the money I had, and I didn't, I wasn't gonna be getting any more money. I'm sorry, I'm not completing the whole story because I'm trying to briefly say what I'm trying to say. That I took I bought about maybe like $200 worth of money orders, and they were like $3 and $5 and $7, depending on what God had on my heart. I bought a, when I went and got the money orders. I got free money orders down there in Chicago on what is it, 26th Street and I believe Pulaski. So when I was there, so I can get, so I took like $200 in there and got a bunch of money orders, so that I can use those for offerings because at that time, um, it was time for me to start sowing again, but you know, I didn't have a big income or any income for that matter to really do much with. So, but I still had an assignment. I had a couple of churches that I needed to be a blessing to. So I just thought that every time I go to church, I'm gonna drop off, my little $3, and I would write on there what I'm sewing that $3 for, whatever. And so I was doing what I was being obedient, me and the Lord had worked out to do. And I had done enough of it, or I had done enough of it, and then my circumstances changed. And so that those money orders, those were designated as giving or sowing or whatever. Um, they were designated, and so I needed gas money. I needed, the last time I came to church, and so I was sitting in there, and so I was listening to the sermon, I was listening to everything, and I felt in my heart, okay, you know what? This is a good place for me to sow these seeds into, and I'm reaping from it. And of course, they're dollars that, $3, $3, whatever, right? So they're not like seeds of, you know, get $1,000, nothing to get back $10,000, because it's not gambling. It is what I learned during the dollar does it time period, which is sow, and sow a dollar or whatever, and now I've upped it to $3, and then you reap an idea to go take care of business or whatever. And so I wrote on there, on all those little money orders, I wrote on there stuff that was going to deal with um the next 10 years of my life, and what I'm working on. So that's why it was interesting that you're the one that sent me the thing about the gifting circle, because once I entered that website that you gave me, another one of my friends who runs like 2 or 3 gifting circles, she called me, and I've been knowing her for years. She's in the military with me, and so she kind of helped me and gave me a deep dive about gifting circles and what she saw. Oh man, doggone it! And you know what? Let me pause. Is that phone call is of an example of what I'm working on, that it's starting to work. Um, so the phone call that I just got was from a guy named Travis, and Travis has got marital problems, and so I took him on, and I listened. He calls me, and I listen to him vent about his situation, the same way that Pastor Eric used to listen to me vent about my situation. you know and then I don't advise, as uh, I really don't advise. I just, whenever I'm in town with him, we hook up, we do some stuff, and now he decided he wants to make an album to vent about some of his stuff, and he's really amped up about doing this album. And so now that's content that I'm going to be able to create, right? And if you hear this guy's story, I could do a I could do 4 hours talking just about him, and it would actually be interesting. Now, but what I did was, he was at a place where he didn't have a cell phone. So I brought him down to Cricket, and if you go to Cricket, you get 4 lines for like $130, right? Which means that if everybody is paying $45 each, that's $180. And so then you got sort of a surplus there. So I had that in my mind a long time ago. And so now I'm at the fourth person on my plan, right? Meaning I got me, and then I got my father, and then I got And then I got Travis, and then now we're about to put my cousin on it. One of my cousins out of Detroit. So what that means is I was able to tell my father, I said, Dad, you are the leader of our little phone plan. And my dad is 68. He's 67. He's gonna be 68 this month. And so, obviously I'm the one dealing with the tech stuff, um, dealing with it. But what it does is it makes it so that my father was able to see. He always gives me 45 or $50 on the bill, and I pay my little bill and it's 45, whatever. It was 60 when it was just me, but then it was when it was just him and me, went up to 90, 45 a piece. And now Travis, I put him on the line, and in theory it's only $20 for him, but no, you you come in at the $45. So now that's three 45s, and then now with my cousin coming on, that's going to be another 45 from him. Now everybody could lower and it go down to, 130 divide, 130 plus tax divided by 4. But by keeping it at 45, it's still a low amount, and now we have a little bit of extra. And I told my father, I said, Dad, whatever you feel that we should do with that little surplus, at least we'll have it. And he's like, you know he actually, put his eyebrow up, because he's not into all the cell phone stuff, but now he's seeing that, my little organization, my little 501c4, I'm calling it the Matty Lipsis District. That's what I'm going to be calling officially. But I'm going to come up with a bunch of different nicknames and different dimensions of it. With my father, he's just dealing with the phone plan part. But I told him, I said, Dad, because it came from a long time ago, Pastor Brian. When I got married to Valerie, we we started that Melaleuca business. And um, when she brought that up, I didn't agree with it at first. I didn't like it at first or whatever. But I still get the little residual checks, which ain't nothing but $3 or $4 or whatever, every month. But $4, I was able to put a little gas in the car because I was, broke like a mug the other day, and I found one of the checks sitting at the house, and I hadn't cashed it yet, so I put that in the bank, put $4 in the tank, and I was able to at least make it down the street, right? Now, anyway, point I'm making is this: it took me on a road of study of what a householder is. And basically, um, what I'm doing is, and what I've done in my household was, I would buy, from Sam's Club, enough toilet paper and paper towels for a whole year. And I would monitor and make sure that, I know how much the amount is. And obviously I do the taxes, so I'm able to kind of manage our finances from that vantage point. But here's the point that I was making. Now I'm in a situation where I've got my place. I've got, the place where, Valerie and the children are. And then and both of those places are in Toma. And then I got my father's place. And then I got, my girlfriend's place. And so then now those four different locations makes it so that I can deliver paper towels and toilet paper with my Sam's Club card. Now, my lady, she's got enough to last for however long. My dad has enough to last. My place, I got enough to last. And my children, they have enough to last. And I'm monitoring it, and I know how much it is. You know what I'm saying? So I've been going item by item for years to get the best deal for a community, right? Now, as a church, back when Pastor Brian, when you did WMA, um, uh, Valerie, she was involved in that. And when I looked at it, I wasn't. I've always I'm stuck, meaning that when I think about my income, when I think about business, I always think music. I don't think I need to go do this. I need to start a business or restaurant. I got a rap buddy out in Indiana. he started a restaurant, selling pizzas. I have no desire to do anything other than music. Like it, you know, I'll do other stuff, but my heart is not going to be in it the way that it's in doing my music. So, um I'm working on my 501c4, meaning that I'm going to file the paperwork, during, over the next 12 months. I'm going to have my paperwork filed, but I'm building my organization, and I'm making the organization very, very small. Like, I'm not going to have uh, a lot of people unless they want to do it. And the gifting circle part of my 501c4, the two things that I'm gonna add to it, to make it work, is I'm gonna add to it the gambling element, and I'm gonna add to it the inspiration element. Now, I think that the gifting circle is missing two parts. It's missing the gambling element, and it's missing the inspiration element, because the gifting circle by itself, all it is money changing hands. If I join at the $1,400 level for this one that my friends got going on, I give $1,400. She takes it, puts it in her pocket, does what she does, and now I'm running around looking for people to give me $1,400. And you know, why don't I just start by getting people to give me $1,400? You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing: gas stations, grocery stores, Sam's Club, uh, music, theaters. People are going there with their wallets out. So why would I go around chasing people while they're hiding their wallet, when I can do something that's going to make people want to pull their wallets out? You know what I'm saying? So what's going to make people pull their wallets out? Well, one thing for my father and, Travis, and now my cousin, is I'm going to be on this phone plan that's inexpensive. The phone plan that Valerie had, we had six or seven phones, and it was literally $350. I was so upset at how much money she was wasting on the cell phone bills, and it was kind of a power trip a little bit. And it just, it made me upset. And we were only, everybody on my plan it's unlimited internet, unlimited data. When Valerie was running the cell phone thing for at US Cellular, we were all sharing 2 gigabytes of data. So when I would be working out in Darien, I couldn't get on the internet. You know what I'm saying? And so it was so frustrating that what I did was I just went over to Boost Mobile and got me another phone. And at that time, Boost Mobile, it was only $35 for a month, and $35 a month. And so now I got the cell phone plan with Valerie, and she got a whole bunch of phones for her whole family. But all of it, I'm paying for it. In other words, my paycheck was making sure that everything was squared away, and then Valerie would, pull the money in from there, give everybody the distribution of amount. So I've seen her do it, but it was just, it's priced too high, cause whatever. Cricket, Boost Mobile, they're the low end, and they have good range. So it's like I did that with Boost Mobile, and I was so happy. Now I didn't have to argue with Valerie about it. It saved me a lot of arguments, because then she came back 2 months later like, did you get another phone? I said, yeah. And the reason why is because I wasn't arguing with her about the 2 gigabytes and stuff like that no more. So I saved myself some arguments by just, doing it my way. And my goal has always been, and all through my life, I have learned how to live below my means. But being with, Valerie, it's like we were living at or above our means, and I didn't like that. So that's given me a whole bunch of little techniques and little things. Like, for instance, my bank, I bank with USAA, which is kind of like a credit union for military people. And they taught me, and they have this product where you got a bank account, a savings account, and you know You put whatever amount you want in there. 300, 500, 600, right? So initially I put $500 in there. And they basically they give you a credit card and it's attached to that savings account. So basically it's a secured credit card. It's a credit card that's secured by that account. And so I had it in there. I had a $500 credit limit. Gave them $500. They turned it. I'm sorry, it was a savings account. It was actually a CD. I'm sorry, not a savings account. It was a CD. So I give them $500. They put it into a CD. That's the back, or the secured credit card is backed by the CD. Now I've got a $500 credit limit. So now I was able to go, because I didn't have any credit cards. I'm not a credit card having person or whatever, right? So now I got a credit card with $500 on it, so I can go get me a rental car whenever I needed it. But then sometimes I might need more than that. And I called the bank. I said, well, look, how does this work? They said, look, whatever money you put on it, it's gonna raise the credit limit. I said, thank you, Jesus. So then I put an extra $400 on there. Now my credit limit is up. And then when I do my annual credit report, looking at my stuff, I saw, my score went up, because it looked like I was raising my credit limit. It's like, whoa. So I saw that. So coupled with my little Sam's Club thing, my Cricket thing, the secure credit card thing, and I have a whole bunch of these other little things that makes my little Matt Ellipsis district community thing work. And listen, it's basically, what is it that you need? Meaning Travis needs a cell phone. So he's going to stay at that level, and I'm not trying to move him up or anything like that. He's the one said, "Look, Matt, you do music. I want to I want to do what you're doing." He saw me. I got my own place, and he's like, "Yo, I got to get my own place, man. I need. Can I get keys to your place? No, you can't get keys to my place. Okay, I need to get my own place. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm instead of advising them, I'm just being about my father's business, and these material things that they need. I'm these witty inventions, if you want to call them. They're just already in the earth. For instance, the dollar store has these little credit cards or whatever. So I can use those. I've gotten a bunch of those, and then, put as much money as I need on there, and then I can, kind of make a little budget for certain things, and I don't have to carry around cash. Or, because you got to remember, if you put more than $10,000 into an account, they have to alert the federal government. You know what I'm saying? But if you got these those little prepaid cards from the dollar store, you could put whatever you want on either of those, and it's a way to sort of manage a budget or whatever. So, like for my record company, right? So when I get to the place where I can sell tickets to shows that I'm doing, then I can take the money and directly go over to and put money on each card. And I say, hey, we're going to put $400 on this card, $400 on that card, $400. So that way, now the budget for each show is each, you know what I'm saying? It's like I know, okay, you know what? We got enough money to do 8 shows, meaning to pay for everything in advance. So then I got the card. Hey, we're going to rent the spot and blah, blah, blah. And then, you know what I'm saying? So I'm organizing it in a way where I don't have to, I'm doing it low. I'm doing it small, and I'm functioning like a military operation. You know what I'm saying? Like in the military. So if I do if I do a dollar store credit card, and I give it to each person that's in the band or whatever, now, they can add money to the thing, or they can use that. You can use the card if you need to put gas in your car to get to the location. Now you got that. And so it's budgeted. You know what I'm saying? And of course, I'm doing my taxes. I'm organizing the whole thing. And it's still small enough to where I'm managing it. When it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, then hopefully sometimes people, you just need to let them go. Because no, I don't want to have some big association with a bunch of people. Because the more people you get, the more attitudes, the more ugh. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, you like what we're doing? Now, I've taught you enough. I I do with everybody. I give everybody we're working together for X amount of time. With Travis, the stuff that we're working on, we got a 5-year plan of what we're going to accomplish. And so we got our little to-do list. For another person, we're doing an 18-month plan. For this person, I got a 1 year where I'm serving you and you and your ministry. There's one particular pastor, I'm serving them. I'm helping them with their website. And, initially it was going to be, yep, Matt, we're going to pay you, blah, 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 blah. But they didn't put no money in my hand to, work on. I set the website up. I did all this stuff to get everything. But they didn't put the money in my hand. And because of the way I flow or the way I function, I decided, look, they haven't done it this far. Let me keep it like this. Because now it's me doing them a favor rather than it's me being a customer service. Because I'm too retired and too grumpy to be customer service to anybody. You know what I'm saying? I've received the rejection that throughout the years. So now it's like, no, I can't be on everybody else's mission anymore. I got to be on my mission. And as I'm doing it, now I'm getting all these phone calls of people saying, hey, Matt, can you help us with this, that, and other? And I want to say yes to everybody. And I pretty much do say yes to everybody because I know that if they called me, um, God wanted them to call me. You know what I'm saying? And so bless the Lord, because I told the things I'm doing for Pastor Chatty and First Lady Katrina is stuff I talked to them about back in 2014. You know what I'm saying? They're just now at this space. So I'm realizing too that some of my thoughts, because of sowing into the Dollar Does It, because of sowing into your ministry, my thoughts, some of the things that I'm thinking about is ahead of schedule, because they were not ready to start putting their stuff online until 2020. But I was talking to them about it in 2014. And when I was talking to him in 2014, I was I was very, very excited about it and like, yo, you guys got to do this. And I said it to a lot of people, and I'm still amped up about it. But I had to learn that sometimes the stuff I'm working on is I'm in a different season than the other people. Meaning that like Jesus, what he would talk, sometimes he was in eternity and present with them at the same time. Not saying that I'm so advanced, but I'm realizing that my mind works, that ever since 2005, Pastor Brian, I've been thinking, um, I think and function from anywhere on the timeline up to 2036, ever since 2005. And I didn't realize this until literally a couple of years ago. That, I've been going back and forth on the timeline, meaning some songs that I've been writing, the thought came in, but it's literally 10 years before that song either would be fully developed or before that song would be relevant. Um, I have a preacher friend of mine named Pastor Eldridge, who he is quoting my lyrics in some of his sermons, and those songs came out, specifically certain songs he's talking about came out in 2000, 1999, 1998, 99, and 2000. And so I'm learning, I've learned, about this. So what I'm saying is that my 501c4, I'm beginning it. I began it a while ago in my head, and I've been doing stuff. But when you sent me the gifting circle thing, it let me know that I can start doing the paperwork, because you know that's one of the Dollar Does It ideas. And if you're doing gifting circles, and it is, because I think it is a good thing. Now, here's the thing I was gonna say. Um, there's the gambling, the inspiration part and the gambling part of money for a gifting circle, those two elements I think needs to be added to gifting circles. Okay. And I figured out my way of how I'm going to add the gambling part of it. Now listen, I detest gambling personally. I'm not a gambler and I don't like gambling. But my father has been a gambler ever since I met you. So I came to the church, CCW, and my father started gambling, and my father and I, we grew apart. And what ended up happening is over time, I learned to love those people. Gamblers were my Ninevites. You know what I'm saying? And now I have such a heart for them that I understand a little bit more. And my father, in other words, I don't hate my father. I was telling my father earlier this year, I said, Dad, gambling must be good. And my father's like, no, it's not. And so I won't go into the whole story, but the bottom line is this. Okay, here's the thing I learned. In 2019, Pastor Brian, the 50-50. This little thing that I learned from these white people out in Toma was one of the greatest little nuggets that I've ever learned in my life. Um, uh, from these white people. Okay, that's, they taught me a lot of stuff, but this is one of the pieces that I said, man, if I could show church people how to do this, this would revolutionize. Because there's a lot of people that um they see that sign that says 145 million, the dollars of the lottery, 100 is, man, and they go out and get lottery tickets. And they're church people, but they don't tell you that. You know what I'm saying? And so, this is the thing. I have never gambled. And when me and Valerie, we were on our honeymoon, we went somewhere and they gave us a card and they put some money on it. And so then you go, it's a bait to make you want to gamble. So you do it, and then it puts some money on there, and then Valerie played like some of it back, and I was like, look, they just gave us basically $25, right? They gave us 50, I think, and then they took back 20 of it, and I was like, look, can we cash out and use that to go get something to eat or something like that? And that's what we did. Thank God. Ugh. The last thing I would have needed is my father to be gambling and my wife. Good Jesus, that would have sucked. But what I'm saying, Pastor Brian, is that um, the 50-50, this is something I learned from these white people. This is what they taught me. Okay. What they do is they um they put they make a like a chart, like a bingo chart, right? And let's say it's 30 spaces. I'm not totally doing it exactly right because it doesn't matter, because the way I'm going to do it is totally different from the way they do it. But I just want you to understand this. This is what they do. So, um Becky Sue is in the hospital sick, right? And she doesn't have Obamacare because she hate Obama, and but so now she's sick and she in the hospital and she ain't got no money to pay the hospital bills. So everybody who likes Becky Sue in the town decides, hey, we're gonna raise some money for her. But they don't just put money. They don't do a GoFundMe. They don't just pass the hat. They do what's called a 50-50. It's an incentive to give. So the 50-50 is this. If you set the price and say every space, every one of these spaces, 30 spaces or whatever, is worth $1, right? And so presumably you're going to get 30 people to give $1 a piece, right? Obviously if it's hospital bills, it's going to be a higher amount, but you know, I'm just making the example simple. So $30. So you go around, everybody says, yeah, give me 2 spaces. And so that's $2. Give me 5 spaces. That'll be $5. Give me 1 space. That'll be $1, right? So now here's what 50-50 means. That means the $30 that's collected for all the spaces, 15 of it goes to Becky Sue as an offering, as here's some money or whatever. The other $15 is um is a winning for somebody. Now, who's gonna win the 50? Who's gonna win that 50% of it? Who's gonna win that $15? Becky Sue, when she gets the $15, she does something like picks out of a hat a number off of the 30 spaces, and she opens it up, and whatever number that is, that's the person that wins the $15. So when you give your dollar, you sort of give some way to contact you. So you might put your email address or phone number or whatever. Now, if gifting circles added the gambling element to it, where you would win some of your money back, it would be more of an incentive, because people like, I've learned people like gambling. Stock market is gambling. Um, Buying a house is gambling. Starting a church is gambling. You're gambling with your time. You're gambling with your health. We're gambling all the time. Bible says chance happens to us all. So I detested gambling for what it was. But I learned that we all gamble. Sowing is, to me, the only thing that we do that's not really gambling. When I'm sowing, I'm doing it because I'm inspired and I'm investing in the kingdom of God. So when I give to the poor, like for instance, Travis is poorer than me in certain areas. So when I give to the poor, I'm lending to the Lord, and he will repay. And God has repaid me many times over. Everything I do to Travis, I'm not doing it for Travis. Even though I'm doing it for Travis, I'm doing it for Travis as an ambassador of the kingdom of God. So now when I'm helping him out, to me, it's 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 better than bringing my money to church, because I'm doing it to a person, and that person, I'm seeing that person grow and benefit, and I'm monitoring certain things in the process, right? Because I said we got a 5-year plan, so I gave him a uniform. So he wants a uniform because his there's a military connection that we got going on. Anyway, um, the point I'm making is that 50-50. When I learned that, I said, man, if how could I introduce this to church? Because if church people could do that, it would make giving more exciting. It's superficial, but that's why I got to do it myself. I can't give it to somebody else, because nobody else is gonna feel about it the way I feel about it. So I'm letting you know, Pastor Brian, this is a direction I'm going with my 501c4. That right now I'm labeling it and calling it the Matt Ellipsis District, but it's gonna have multiple names, because it's like, how like Pastor Brian, Pastor you know how like Pastor Bill Winston, he bought the mall. So the mall has different, it had different stores in it. He had the bank, he had this, he had that, he had this. And what I've learned that is I am the Matt Ellipsis University. I am the Matt Ellipsis economy. I am my own Wall Street. So I can create whatever needs to be created. Meaning that if there are a bunch of people who say, I'm down with what Matt's doing, then we're going to do what it is that, I'm doing or they're doing or whatever. And I've learned to build partnerships, meaning I'm not trying to build a whole group of people that are like with me, paying me a bunch of money, unless here's what I'm trying to do. When we go to church, we pay our tithes and offerings because we love, because we are trained to, because we care and stuff like that. But when people go to see Cat Williams or um, uh, Kirk Franklin or Michael Jackson, they're going there and they're paying X amount of dollars to see something, to experience something. And so I believe, I'm not mistaken, when Pastor Carla said to me a long time ago that people got to experience me, meaning that she was talking about the song When You Die, but this is a long, long time ago. This is way before you guys opened up CCI, the location. But she said that to me, and I never forgot that. And I could be wrong. I just remember, what I remember is she was saying that, Matt, you're an experience. A little bit, and she might have said that way better than I'm saying it. But the point I'm making is that as I endeavor to make my albums and make my sermons, and I have a bunch of comedy material that I've been working on. So as I endeavor to go and start, you know, no longer being underground. And this is the ministry of Matthew Walker, the ministry of Matt. You know what I'm saying? You've watched me ever since I was 21. So as I go to be more public about what I'm doing, there are people who are going to attach to me, you know, understanding that I'm good ground. And the thing about it is that I've learned to accept. I used to be a person that's like, I don't need no money because I'm not gonna be anybody's slave. I'm already tired of being a slave to this, a slave to that, slave to her, a slave to this job, a slave to that job over there. I'm tired of being a slave to everybody. And people treating me like Laban, where they're not investing back into what I'm doing. And not that it's bad, because as as Kevin Leal taught, he said that just like for slaves, and that's where discussion that I put out called One Generation Payback. It's basically, you know, Jacob got the spiritual benefits from he got the spiritual benefits from the work. Laban may have got the natural benefits, the money, and he was obviously screwing Jacob over. But Jacob got the spiritual benefits of it, which means wherever he goes, he's going to be able to activate and do what needs to be done. And that's what you trained me to be, is wherever I go, I can take care of business. I learned in 2019 that I'm a cranberry, meaning that all these different places that I've gone, I've planted myself, and the fruit of a cranberry is it's 70 years. You plant it one time and you keep the conditions right, you're going to reap 70 years worth of cranberries. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's at least the way I see myself. So because I know that about myself, I got my website, I have my email address. I have, not only a phone, but I got all these ways to communicate with people, Messenger and whatever else. But I'm keeping it with email and Messenger right now. And other means, I'm gonna be working it out, because I'm getting used to doing texting and stuff like that, because it's a lot to be going back and forth. And you do the same thing. But um um Olivia, if you remember Lysandra's daughter, her first daughter, well, she only has one daughter, but her daughter Olivia. So Olivia said some stuff to me, and talking to her on the phone, I knew that it would not. I knew that it wouldn't. It didn't. It doesn't go across. And she's 19, 20 or whatever, so she's an adult. So I made a YouTube video, and I put a little music underneath it, and I sent it to her, right? And when she listened to it, she didn't call me. She's got my number. She didn't message me back. She put her words underneath the YouTube video. Now, here's what that means. It means that sometimes my best way of communicating with people, hold on. Yeah, I'm sorry, my friend. I don't have a lighter. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't have one in the car. No, I'm so sorry. Bless you though. Um, so, um, but I'm saying that some things got to be handled in front of people, right? So I sent that message. It was like a 33-minute um, talking to, so to speak. And she replied back on the video with comments. So I saw those comments. Now, what I was doing was I was talking to her, but I was also talking to the other people in Valerie's tribe that I needed to say some words to, so that they understood how I felt about some stuff, because that's one of the things that I've got to do over the next several years. Is I haven't said much about anything. I have not spoken my mind. And because of that, people think that things are a certain way when they're not. People have a certain impression of me that's incorrect because I haven't spoken. And now I can't, I'm not gonna, close my mouth about anything, meaning that of course I'm gonna be using discretion, but I've got stuff to say and I've got stuff to build, and I can't put it in anybody else's hands because I was put in a lot of people's hands over the years, and we did not accomplish everything that we were, quote, supposed to accomplish, but I accomplished everything I was supposed to accomplish because I always kept realistic goals and things that I did from the time that you knew me all the way up until September 2017. Those were types and shadows and seed forms of things that I'm going to be doing for over the next 13 years or so. So I said all that to say this, Pastor Brian. My 501c4, as I put it together, if there is ever a time that you would like for us to talk a little bit about it, I would love to. But it's one of them things where I appreciate that you are thinking about gifting circles. I'm grateful that you're thinking about that. And I'm grateful that you were thinking about the Willie Lynch letter. When you spoke about that one time. And those things are meat to my soul because it's I've been so spiritual that I haven't manifested my ministry in the natural the way that possibly it could have been had I've been more savvy and more naturally minded. I wasn't. I was fully spiritual. And so now I'm naturally spiritual and spiritually natural as I go forward to do, I guess, what I would call my public ministry or public facing outreach to certain people. There are certain things. There's a bunch of churches that I'm not trying to start a church. My 501c4, there are going to be some times that there's only going to be one or two members of it, actual members, because I don't mind scrubbing and getting rid of everybody, meaning that I'm only going to have people being with me for a certain amount of time. I don't need anybody. The only people that I need to stay with me for a long time is going to be my children because to me they are the benefit. You know what I'm saying? Just like with your faith community, CCI the building. Once you own it, if you don't already, which I'm hoping that you already do, now who's gonna inherit that? It's gonna be your children. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna give it to somebody else. You're gonna give it to your children. It stays in the family. Just like the church that I was a part of when I first got saved. That was a family church. You know what I'm saying? So the things I've got to build, I'm not trying to build necessarily something that's going to be natural on earth, but if I get a bunch of people, this was the one about with the Sam's Club, right? Um, so I worked for a company and they had a Sam's Club membership that they paid $100 a year for. Anybody, and the company had 650 people there. Any one of us 650 people could go get the company Sam's Club card, go over to Sam's Club, get groceries or whatever we want to get, and then bring it back. And the company benefits because it gets the points, whatever points, if there were points, but there's no points. But what it does is that's one of the benefits of being part of the company. They may not treat you good because there's a union, which they needed a union, but you got the Sam's Club benefit. And that's one of the things that I'm going to be doing in my 501c4. You may not have a Sam's Club membership, but because I do, you can use my card. You have access to places that I have access to. For instance, I've got access to all the VAs because I'm the VA rap champion. I've got access to all the military bases because I've got my military ID. I've got access to people that other people don't have because I'm part of them. You know what I'm saying? I'm part of a music community. I'm part of a VA community. I'm part of a military community. I'm part of a church community. I'm part of these other churches over here. I'm part of these people because we do blah 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 whatever. I'm actively hanging out in this town and I'm enjoying those people over there. I did interviews with these people and these people do that. So because I've got all these different people, just like anybody else does, right? In one person's mind, hey, he will be great for our multi-level marketing thing because he knows all these people. But not every person that I know is interested in anything like that. And it's you. This was the thing. This is the heart, Pastor Brian, of my 501c4 social welfare. This is the heart, and it came from your lips, sir. And I'll end with this. The heart of my 501c4, sir. The heart of the Matty Lipsis district. It came from your lips. You taught it. If I'm not mistaken, the first time I heard you say this was in 2009, during that year that I was the sound man. And yes, you said it at least 12 times during that year, right before I went to California. Here's what you said. Treasure in earthen vessels. And so a gifting community, the treasure, what do you have that nobody else has? So for me, I make music. One of the things that I intended to do for all my Facebook friends, this is how I started the year 2020, but everything kind of went totally different, haywire, in a way, right? I started the year with a plan. I'm glad I didn't announce this, but it was on my to-do list. That all 1,400 of my Facebook friends, I was going to write them an individual birthday song, meaning that I was going to take a song and basically tailor make it for each of them. You know what I'm saying? Put their name or say some words or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then on their birthday or close to their birthday, shoot it out to them as an MP3 or a video. Boom, 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 boom. Right? And by doing that, now those people are getting something special from me. Directly from me, and it's more than just happy birthday. It's, wow, you made a video for me. You used some of my pictures. Now that's a lot of work, but for my Facebook friends, I know that they're not my friends, but if I treat them with a higher level of love, since they are connected with me, and some of these people I've known since high school, some of these people I've known since CCW, some of these people I've known since California, some of these people I've known since basic training, you know what I'm saying? Since I've got this community of people that are at my fingertips, let me bless them. Not let me start off asking them to be part of something I'm doing. Let me take what I'm doing and tailor make it for them. And so I did that, and I made a video for this family, and I took about 3-minute song that I did or whatever, and kind of just said some words about them, and boom, send it to them. This person said some, so I start blessing, and then I start getting responses back, and then another, and that's the way I've been looking at my social welfare organization. So my gifting circle is I'm giving gifts out, and then because I'm sowing into them, I'm reaping for them. Why? Because treasure in earthen vessels. I'm getting favor, and I don't always do it. I've learned sometimes do it in private, and they will, bless you openly by saying some words, however they say it. Or sometimes you got to do it openly, and that's fine, depending on what it really depends on what it is and depending on the circumstance. And then I've learned how to target and say, you know what, this group of people that I'm part of, these are the main people. Let me say a blessing to them, and then they end up saying good things about me to the other people. Now, unfortunately, I'm not into getting money from all these people, from people. I'm not. Because as soon as money gets involved, it really messes with stuff. Okay. All right. So I'm going to end it right now. Talk to you later, Pastor Brian.
Say it with me now. You can get more bang for your buck. $1 does it. You can get more bang for your buck. $1 does it? Turn this volume up and get more bang. $1 does what? Put bump in your trunk. You can get more bang for your buck. $1 does it? You can get more bang for your buck. $1 does it? Turn this volume up and get more bang. $1 does what? Put bump in your trunk. Haven't you heard this Christian concept of sowing and reaping that's in the word? I got a sermon, lyrical version that'll tackle the spiritual vermin, preventing the burden of this weighty encumbrance. The church is now shacked by who? What we gon' do about it? I'ma tell you what I got planned. It all starts with this little seed in my hand. Yes, it's a crumpled up $1 bill. Commentators say it's worthless, but it has its value still. Nah, I'ma keep it real. I don't participate in no recession. It's all about progression, cause kingdom economics say give and it shall come back. You know the rest. Prove me now, test this concept. Take this dollar, toss it to God.
Via the church.
Peter and Paul both know not to rob.
We are the church.
Then it came back in the form of a business plan. Put it to rhythm and music and articulate my witness, man. People will listen, the nuggets will glisten and be reminiscing. The days of the ghost came out from Pentecost to coast. Cloven tongues with a pen we wrote so prophetically to exhort and make you smile. Hopefully you say
that ellipsis, I like his style.
When you give me $1, I'll give you a CD, or you can go online, download the MP3.
M3.com.
Redo this again, my motive, momentum. Pull us up the hill like a sent one. Picture animated, soul train, locomotive head bobbing, pulling the church on its back. That's the picture of this track. Just because the vending machine rejected, don't mean your dollar ain't respected. If you bring it to me, McDonald's can't do for you what I can do. I can help you bob your head through what you going through. I'm sorry, I can't dance on your lap, but I can show make a song to help you stop sliding back.
Ooh.
Pastor Brian, I don't think they heard me. I just wanna make a track about what God learned me. In God we trust. Turn this volume up and get more bang for your buck.
Come on.
Turn the volume up and get more bang for your buck. Turn the volume up and get more bang. Say it with me now. You can get more bang for your buck. $1 does it. You can get more bang for your buck. $1 does it. Turn this volume up and get more bang. $1 does what? Bump in your trunk.
The CCI vision is not full of ambition, rightly division, decision. Soulless from spirit on any given Sunday of wisdom, not just paying your penance to helping real people find real repentance. Lucre is not the incentive, truth is not bent. Pastor Brian was sent with Pastor Carla to Glen View. So if you are in the area, visit, you'll understand the mission, the decision they made to labor on our behalf. A sower sows the word, so when I put this in the dirt, sound waves move through the speakers, registers within your ears. You were made from Adam, so it's planted in the earth. You must not be stony ground, you're proof that the word works. It's paid off in the spirit, I feel the burden lifted. We're opening the doors while the government is rifting. Kingdom advance, not dumb luck. Turn the volume up and get more bang for your buck. If CCI's in the building, put your hands in the air and say yeah. Let's push the limits by increasing our giving. Let us pay out fully the mortgage on the building. Say it with me now.
You can get more bang for your buck. $1 does it.
You can get more bang for your buck.
$1 does it.
Turn the volume up and get more bang.
$1 does what? Bump in your trunk.
You can get more bang for your buck.
$1 does it.
You can get more bang for your buck.
$1 does it. Say CCIE, 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 CCIE.
We all have the fight or flight instinct, to some either mentally or physically. This response is triggered by the release of hormones your body needs to either stay and deal with a threat or to run away to safety. Top Flight Defense Incorporated is an organization that was established to meet those needs of women veterans of the U.S. Armed Forces. Women veterans have been known to soar like eagles. We have faced adversity and have proven we are mentally and physically tough. The women we provide service to are women who served in all branches of the military. We are the fighters for justice and defenders of freedom. Our mission is to encourage and uplift women veterans with training for physical, mental, emotional, and financial health. This training will help them go back to their communities to empower the women that live there. To learn more about our organization, you can visit our website at www.topflightdefenseinc.org or on our social media, facebook.com/Top Flight Defense Inc. Instagram.com/Top Flight Defense Inc. Or on Twitter, www.twitter.com/defense_top. We also accept donations. Our Cash App account, $Top Flight Defense Inc. Our PayPal and Zelle account, Top Flight Defense Inc. @gmail.com. Thank you for watching.